Hi everyone, welcome to the MLATI YouTube series on all things legal tech. Today we have Andrea Marshall from Freshfields for Derringer. Hi Andrea, how are you?
Hello, fine, thank you.
So I was wondering if you could maybe give a brief explanation to yourself and maybe your role and your journey within Freshfields.
I've been with Freshfields just over 4 years. I joined in the innovation team, actually, started off in the innovation team. I then moved into the legal technology operations team, and I still have some connections with the legal technology operations team, but I also manage a team of resource managers. My background is not legal, my background is technical. I have a background in technology, project management, and psychology.
So I understand that you become involved with the Manchester Law and Technology Initiative. So I guess I wanted to ask you, why did you become involved in MLATI, but also what was sort of the motivation in setting the network up?
So when I first joined the firm, I said to my then manager, I had an idea about a collaboration with the university, and they said, funny you should say that, because there's one just kicking off, which I got involved with, which was MLATI. So the motivation it was kicked off by the university, and the motivation was really around the need for collaboration between law firms and academia. Mainly because things were moving very fast in the legal tech industry, and academia has quite a lot to say and doing research in this area, and this could benefit the industry. So it was really about sharing knowledge, but also about directing the education of future lawyers. So law firms would have an input into the curriculum and how they were trained, and obviously producing lawyers of the future.
Mhm. On that note, where do you think the industry is going in terms of multidisciplinary teams? And I guess, what are your thoughts on the relationship in the market now between legal technologists and project managers?
So this is definitely a trend that's moving. The law industry is definitely moving away from having just a set of lawyers on matters, and with the advent of legal tech and pressure from clients as well, there's definitely a move towards multidisciplinary teams for lots of reasons. A matter is effectively a project. It makes a lot of sense to have specialised people doing project management on them, but with the advent of legal technology as well in the mix, that means that there's really a requirement for a real mixture of people on a team, such as legal project managers, legal technologists, even developers and architects, technology architects. Depending on what the matter is, you might have huge mandates that require really quite a lot of technical ability and development. So yeah, it's an interesting one. The industry's changing fast.
So you mentioned a lot about there needs to be some sort of technical ability. That leads on to my next question is, to what sort of level should lawyers use legal tech tools? Should they know how to code, or should they begin to code? Really, I guess that's what most of our students or graduates are wondering. If they don't, especially if they don't really have an understanding of what legal tech actually is.
I've been involved in quite a lot of quite heated discussions about this. There's a lot of very strong opinions on whether lawyers should be able to code. Coming from a technical background and being a developer in the past myself, I strongly believe that lawyers shouldn't code. To be a developer, it's a career just like a lawyer. You have a lot of knowledge, you've got a lot of experience, and a lot of understanding of how it all fits into the bigger picture from a technology perspective. I don't think they should code per se, lawyers, but I think lawyers do need to have a knowledge of, firstly, data and data structures. I think that's really, really useful. And data and analytics. So the knowledge of the data structures and how data works leads into analytics. Definitely a need for lawyers to be able to use low code or no code platforms. So their skill set definitely needs to change to be more aware of technology, be able to use different tools, but definitely not coding. That's my opinion.
No, I would agree with you. Going from here, if you said that lawyers don't necessarily need to use low code or no code, then would it also mean that non-law graduates were probably able to succeed in this role? And which, I guess, suppose my question was, what sort of roles will be developed in the legal tech industry? But we've kind of broadly covered that. So mash between these two questions. Can non-law students, graduates come into this role, and what are the new roles that will continuously be developed in the legal tech industry?
Definitely, legal technologists need to be a mixture. I think you need teams of legal technologists that have a mixture of legal background and technical background. There's definitely a need for that. And obviously, the more the universities delve into this area and start training specific legal technologists, then you've got a bit of both. You definitely need people who've got technical background as well as a legal background. And I think this ties back into the university, is that universities are now starting to recognise that they need to train these new roles that are appearing in the law industry, which aren't lawyers, and they're looking at courses to train specifically legal technologists in the tools that are there. But of course, legal technology is moving so fast, there's new stuff coming along all the time. So they need to be able to move with the times, legal technologists, and understand the fundamentals, but also be able to move with the technology coming up. I think that's one of the issues at the moment, is it's such a fast moving industry and a fast moving area of law that really it's changing all the time. And there's two issues here. One is the law industry is a very traditional industry and has a reluctance to change. So there's quite a challenge ahead to change the industry, especially when you've got perhaps older lawyers and partners who think, well, we've always done it like that, therefore it should be done like that. But I think it will settle down, and the roles of legal technologist, legal project manager, etc., will start to become formal roles. At the moment, there's no formal training, no formal certification or qualification for these things, but it's starting to change. There are odd courses around. That will become a much more formal role, I think, in the industry.
Yeah, and ultimately, I think legal tech sort of education will now boil back down to universities. Then what would your advice be for anyone who is wanting to break into this industry, maybe even consider this as an alternative path instead of taking the traditional training contract route, per se?
Keep an eye on the universities, because the universities are definitely starting to see this space and provide specific courses in this area. Obviously, Manchester University was one of the forerunners, and we forged the way. There's now other universities doing a similar sort of thing, and LATI was the first one. So definitely keep an eye on the universities and the courses available. There's also summer courses. So there's conversions from being a lawyer or even a technology person into the legal technology sphere and legal project manager sphere. There's also third-party organisations that are starting to do things like legal project management. Follow MLATI, check out their website and the other things in that area. Just keep your eye on social media.
And our YouTube channel.
Yeah, and your YouTube channel. Yeah.
That'd be a good start. No, I completely agree. I think we see a lot of the space. I think Avoca or Brighter, they have their own academy doing free training programs for students to just learn the basics of coding, or really just an experience to use their platform. Similarly with Surmise, who's also based in Manchester, I definitely think those are a good starting point for students and graduates altogether for an insight into legal tech.
NIOTA are also collaborating with a few universities, so they're providing courses, training in their technology, and that's obviously very specific. So in Manchester, the different departments are collaborating. So the computer science department, the legal department, and business services departments are all collaborating together. So business services and computer science students are getting the opportunity to learn about legal tech. So they're mashing those different areas up, which is working really, really well.
Yeah. So I guess the final thought and the final question, which is a big one for today, how, in your view, will legal tech change the industry? And I guess we've talked about lots how legal tech is good for our industry. Maybe what are the challenges as well?
I think legal tech, it's the same in any other industry. Automation and getting computers to do the tedious stuff is what will change. So lawyers should be able to spend more time doing the clever, interesting stuff instead of the tedious, boring stuff. I think one of the biggest challenges is culture change. I've always said this, I've been involved in the technology industry for a long, long time. The technology is the easy part, it's the people that's the hard part. So I think the culture change in the legal industry is going to be the biggest challenge, not the technology, especially as you've got younger people coming up all the time who are used to new technology, but changing a very old traditional industry is going to be the challenge, I think.
Well, then, I guess hopefully from our groundbreaking YouTube video today, we will encourage more students and graduates into legal tech.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for your insight. I suppose also your experience within legal tech. Hopefully you can join us again in our future series.
Happy to. Thanks, Lee.
Thank you.